Welcome back to Glorious Lies of Battle. I am one of your, I don't know what we call ourselves, storytellers boards, but I am one of those, Hatter, and with me is Andrea.
Hello.
And DallyDayDream.
Moo.
You're just gonna run through the gambit of animal noises, aren't you?
Yes.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay. And,
That's my ploy to make sure you ask me back, so you'll see what animal noise I make next.
That's fair. That is totally fair. What? I was gonna say something, now I forgot. Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, now I remember. This is being recorded before the first one goes up. So, again, for people that are listening, please, leave comments about your RPG stories. And, you know, if they're fun or interesting, we'll read them, we'll read one or two of them on the show, I guess.
I can neither confirm nor deny the idea that I might do funny voices.
Just flotsam shows up out of nowhere.
Hello.
Well, was there any, like, stories y'all wanted to tell? Because I guess we're still on the stories kick, right, at the moment.
I think there's the one story you mentioned at the end that you wanted to
Oh,
tell.
yes. I will get to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are
well.
you keeping us in suspense, or are you going to do that now?
Oh, no, I guess I can go ahead and open with that. It's a kind of a long story, though, because it's like multiple stories in one. It's like two different stories. It's like two different stories, and a cautionary tale of always make sure your players know what alignments you need them to play.
Oh, God, yeah. I told you my assassin story last time, didn't I? Yes, definitely do that.
Well, here's the thing. The group that I used to play with, which was Andrea, Logan, a different Logan that you know, we call him Gorlock. A gentleman named Devin, a friend named Matt, and Judson. And eventually a friend of ours named Morgan came in to play. But I had this idea, which is another thing that I like to say Bethesda quote stole from me, as everyone that's listened to the Fallout Broken Souls game knows. The people that made Fallout 4 and I seem to be on the same wavelength here.
I blame Steve.
That's fair. But they left a Easter egg or a clue, depends on who you ask, in Fallout 4, that Fallout 4 may be the distant prehistory of Elder Scrolls. And I buy into that 100%, because I love that idea. So much so, that I'd actually used that idea beforehand. See, the world that I created for my system after the collapse, I had this thing called the Elders, which was a species of beings with advanced magic, that just randomly disappeared, and on occasion you'll find their homes underground made out of a indestructible metal.
Adamantium, you say?
And like it wouldn't age, it wouldn't degrade over time. They tried that, but so I had this idea where the players would start off in a fantasy world, get teleported to a world of technology, and as far as they would know, they got like transported to the future because, you know, it's like futuristic. But in fact, they had been sent so far into the past that technology was the primary source of power back then. And that's kind of
Time is circular.
what.
Wibbly wobbly timey-wimey.
Yep.
That's kind of where the story like starts off, as this group of people. I think I called the game Dragons and War.
Yes.
And it's actually,
How it's labeled on YouTube.
yeah, that's what I called it, and it's on YouTube. It's not that interesting because that was before I really got used to DMing over Skype, because that was the first Skype game we ever played. But so I'm like, okay, so y'all make your characters, and here's where you got to make sure your players understand what alignment you're going for. Even though my system doesn't run alignments because I don't like that way of doing it. That's a whole nother discussion. But they always play like good guys, or at least neutral guys that goes along with a party that is generally good. So I had built this entire massive 4-chapter campaign, around the fact that they were good guys.
Yeah.
Loosely around the fact that they were good guys. Well, session 0, we did a session 0 because I wanted to see how well a game over Skype would run. And, everything was going fine. There was some combat, there was some RP, a little bit of everything that you could possibly ask for in a tabletop game, just to make sure it all worked. And then they decided, you know what, let's go to the inn, we'll go to sleep, and, we'll call the session there, and we'll start session 1 next week. This is where I found out that 2 of my players were absolute evil.
Hi!
And I don't mean, like, evil as, like, chaotic lawful or chaotic neutral. No, they were chaotic evil.
Andrea, I'm surprised at you.
Yeah, which, even though Andrea has threatened me on multiple occasions to stab me in the eye with a chopstick. Almost every session, honestly. She always played at least she was Stabby McStabby, but she was Stabby McStabby the bad guys.
Yes.
Not this.
This instant I call the inn, because they were at an inn, and Andrea and Logan decided to get a room, and then they messaged me and privately and said, we want to RP this. I'm like, I'm surprised that, specifically you and Logan want to RP this. Okay, go on. And it wasn't what I was thinking, because I hadn't realized the level of their evil yet. They left their room, went down to the main room of the inn, and they found the innkeeper, who was just, sitting there in a chair, just relaxing. And they snuck up on him, and I believe they got a nat 20. So, sneaking double damage, nat 20 double damage, with a bastard sword.
Appropriate, since they're being bastards.
Yeah, and I believe the phrase decapitation is appropriate. Yeah, very very appropriate for the situation. So then they stole his keys, and then went back upstairs, and they're like, okay, so this room is our buddy's room, this room's our buddy's room, this is our room, this room's empty, this room has just some dude in it. Okay, cool. They go in and kill him.
No.
Now let me explain why. Let me explain. No, they didn't. They didn't even.
That's not even it.
Yeah, they didn't even say why. They didn't even say how they killed him. They just said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go in and stab him, and he's dead." Andrew was playing a warlock, and in my system, I had it where warlocks, necromongers, priests, and paladins of the fantasy world can follow a god. If they do so, they receive a special power from said god, because they're the actual high and mighties of religious orders. And in my system, demon lords and gods aren't necessarily good or evil. They are just what they are. So Logan, the necromonger, is playing, is worshipping the god of contracts, who is straight neutral. If you agreed to do something, you will do it. Doesn't matter what it is. You will do it. If you did a verbal or physical contract, you're going through with it. Unless the other person broke the contract first. And Andrew was playing a warlock. Again, not necessarily evil, and was worshipping a demon lord of dreams. So again, not evil.
Specifically nightmares.
Well, dreams and nightmares. And so not specifically
Nightmare, moon, and a lawyer, got it.
Yeah, so not specific. Well, yeah, it'd be basically like Luna / Nightmare Moon and a lawyer. But it wasn't necessarily evil. It's just, nightmares is a thing that happens, and that can't be helped. But I am the god of dreams and nightmares. So I'm not necessarily evil. So I had nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah, no, So they kill this guy in the name of their demon lords. They sacrifice this guy to him. I'm like, okay. That's not exactly like what your demon lords, would enjoy, but they see that you're doing this thing and, enjoy it.
Kind of go, wow, you shouldn't have. No, really, you shouldn't have. What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, it's like, okay, yeah, that's not exactly what we want, but, you're doing something in our name, and it's not against us, so, here's a little favor. Then they went to the... Yeah, it's the thought that counts. And it wasn't against what they do. Like, none of them were against killing. So, they were fine with it. So they went to the next room. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can rein this in and stop them from being absolute evil. And I tell them...
Famous last words.
And I tell them, yes, when you open the door, you see that in this room is a family of 3.
No! You gave them lambs to slaughter.
No, yeah. That's exactly what happened. I believe Andrea bit off the face of the father.
Yes.
Like, physically just
Okay.
because she was a tiger folk. She plays, every time she gets a chance, she will play a tiger folk. Rips this guy's face off with her teeth. The Necromonger kills the mom. And then, that laugh should tell you the evil that is about to transpire.
That's the laugh that Hatter does, Andrea.
That is the DM laugh, and it slightly terrifies
That
me.
is the DM laugh.
And I love it. She draws a pentagram on the kid with her dagger, and then stabs him to death. Because they wanted to play evil characters, because they always played at least somewhat good guys. Logan often played the good guy. He was the hero. He was
Yeah.
he may every once in a while let something bad happen, but in general he was the good guy. And Andrea played Stabby McStabby, but I'm gonna stab the bad guys. So I guess in alignment, Logan often played lawful.
Neutral good and chaotic good?
No,
Neutral?
no. I would think more of like a lawful neutral, or no, not lawful neutral. Good neutral or lawful good. He was always in that spectrum of good guys. Andrea was more of chaotic lawful or lawful neutral. Not lawful neutral, but
And chaotic good.
chaotic good. Yeah, she was more along those lines, but she was still somehow good, and he just group meshed together. Well, now they were both playing chaotic evil, in essence.
A little bit.
So I'm like, okay.
Some
I
people just
mean-
want to watch the world burn.
Oh no, you don't understand.
Orphanage!
Yeah, no, I was actually coming to that. The Necromonger has an ability automatically.
There is an orphanage!
Now let me explain.
Yes.
Let me explain. The Necromonger has an automatic ability that says whenever you kill something, you gain a soul, and you use these souls to cast spells, which makes the Necromonger far more powerful, but far more limited. So he has to constantly be killing things to be able to cast spells.
AKA, good thing that they killed Kier when we did, yes.
Oh yeah, no, he had a lot of souls. But he being chaotic evil means you don't have to worry about finding someone to kill.
True.
Because you can
You
just
can kill anyone you goddamn please.
Yeah. Well, then Logan kept asking me. Like, he was trying to think of a place that had a lot of people that would be easily killed. So every time they went to a city, they were like, does the city have an orphanage? No. Okay, next city. Does the city have an orphanage? No.
Never going to give you an orphanage, you sadist.
No, I never said that. But actually, I might have said that at one point. But eventually, when they got to chapter 2, he asked me if there was an orphanage. I'm like, if there's a really big city, there's probably an orphanage somewhere. You'd have to go find it. And he goes, okay. And then I told him, if you want an orphanage, you can have an orphanage. And then he stopped and went, I don't want an orphanage. I don't want an orphanage.
Oh,
Because,
was he having?
no, because I did the DM laugh.
Oh.
He was gonna go through with it. He was just gonna go in. I was gonna make him do some rolls, but I came up with a way that would totally screw him over in the end if he did that. But that's later on in the story. So the rest of the group. I'm like, okay, so maybe the rest of the group's gonna be playing like good guys and be able to rein these two crazy people in. So Devin, who also usually plays as a relatively neutral character who just kind of goes along with the group, is playing an alchemist who is like straight up neutral, like he just doesn't care.
Okay.
But he has
Not gonna rein him in, but
no. But then we came up with this thing because he's an alchemist. He's squishy, really squishy. No armor, low health. So he kept being downed, like every combat downed.
There were a couple times I think he got down in one single round, one single combat 3 times.
Yeah, like round 1, he gets sideswiped by a bunch of ghouls in the fantasy setting. One of them quit, and all the hits hit, so he goes down. They use a health potion on him, bring him back. Ghoul hits him again, he's down. They're like, okay, we gotta wait a little bit. You can wait a little bit. We need to thin out these crowds. Later on, health potion, raised up, sideswiped by ghouls again, goes down again.
And then immediately after that, I get down, and the guy, and Logan was technically the healer of the group as well.
He's playing a Necromonger, which is the tank of a group, and is meant to be dealing damage and maybe DPS. He was the only healer.
Right. Okay, so a little bit of multitasking going on there.
Well, it wasn't meant to be that way, but the ability that that Contract gives allows him to spend a soul to cast one of 3 abilities. One of it is like you deal max damage. I can't remember what the second one was, and the third one was a dead ally you are able to bring back to life.
As a zombie?
No,
or...
just like I sacrifice, like the Grim Reaper comes, I give them a different soul. The Reaper, lets my friend live, kind of thing.
Okay.
So he was, and no one else had like, I'm going to give you health points. No, he was the, you die, I bring you back. That was it. That was the only heal they had in the entire group. So,
okay.
When you got downed, you either got a health potion, or you waited until you died.
Right.
Well, so yeah, he was the healer, but Devin, playing this alchemist, came up with this idea to, every time he was down, he would get another personality, so he'd have multiple personality syndrome.
Dissociative identity disorder?
Yes. I say multiple personality disorder because most people don't know the real turn of phrase. Well, not real turn of phrase, but the actual use. And because that's only been, like, changed recently, like, in the last year or so.
Yeah. Well, before, you do now. Hooray, education.
Yeah, yes. If you did not think that this podcast would be educational, you're wrong! Mostly it's gonna be tales of morality. And mostly it's gonna be tales of morality and, what you should and should not do in a tabletop game. But every once in a while, we'll say something smart.
I are smart all the time.
So his first personality was neutral. Like before the game ended, he had 6 personalities.
Did he change alignment each time?
Not necessarily. He just kind of made up a new personality, and most of the time they were evil.
That's yeah. Most of the time they're good.
There was one personality that's particularly. There's one personality that particularly hated one person of the group.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay,
but yeah,
okay.
no, like the main personality was true neutral, and all the other ones fell in the evil or bad category of alignment. One of them was straight up a sociopath, like he killed everything, so he fit in right with the Warlock and the Necromonger. Another one was just
almost as if being brought back by the evil Necromonger somehow had an influence on his personality.
There was another one who was good, like he was good, except he hated one particular member of the group and would go out of his way to physically harm him every chance he got.
Granted, we all did that.
True. That is true. But he liked everyone else except this monk.
Hearing that you had some kind of butt monkey.
We did, and I feel like Judson... I feel bad for Judson, I really do. Y'all went too far sometimes. And I tried reining you in, but... So, yeah, that was... So that character didn't help rein in the evil. Then we got to the bear.
If it makes you feel any better, one of our players got their legs cut off once when they were absent. But that's a story for another time.
Well, okay.
That's a story for another time.
Yeah. This it's actually because of this game that we came up with the phrase of if a player is missing, we still continue on, but they've taken a vow of silence.
Yes.
Because the monk.
Yeah, the monk for several sessions in a row couldn't make it. So it's a monk, so he's taking a vow of silence. But we get to the bear. The bear was played by Matt, and he was a berserker. And he was a bearmon, which is basically a tiger folk, but instead of tiger, it's a bear. Who aren't all that smart, but he did everything in his power to make himself dumber.
Okay.
Like, he would purposely give himself brain damage.
Okay.
So he could constantly have a lower intelligence score. He was he was neutral stupid. That's what we called him.
Is there any particular reason that he wanted to have a lower intelligence score?
I have no idea. Matt was he was a strange guy, so he fit right in with all of us. But he always made really strange characters. Like
Sounds like he should have been the butt monkey. He wanted to be damaged.
like the dumbass bear. And there was another one that we played with Logan actually being the DM. He played a character who every time he came across something new, he would roll to see if he like became interested in it, and if he did, he really did, like really did.
That's an interesting self-imposed mechanic, yeah.
But it got to the point of just also like it got bad because like he also became obsessed with shiny things and stealing stuff.
Oh no, it's a magpie.
It was. So he tried, they're on a cove. This is a whole nother story, but we'll eventually get to that. But it's also recorded and put on YouTube. It is called the
Spectres?
Spectres. Yeah, I think it was called Spectres. And so then we get to the last character who started off in the game, the monk, and he was a Shaolin monk who worshipped the goddess Iris, a goddess of light and holiness.
This sounds like your token good person in the team.
Oh yeah, he was lawful good. He was lawful good.
This starts to explain why everyone else kicked the shit out of him.
Well, here's the other reason. Because if he like stood up for himself, I'm guaranteeing you they wouldn't have picked on him as much as they did. Because they did everything in their power. Because he wouldn't fight back. He was the most timid guy I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone this timid before. And like, he would get stabbed by one of his, air quotes, friends. He would go, ow, why'd you do that? And still hang out with these people.
I mean, I guess from a player point of view, he kind of has to, because that's the game, but...
I gave him an option to make a new character, and he wouldn't take it.
Okay.
He really wanted to play this monk, so I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, man, but go ahead. Just keep playing this guy. And the players just would not let him stop. Yeah, no, they would not stop at all. So, this campaign that I designed around them being good guys, because at least semi-good guys, because that's what they always were, had to take a drastic left turn.
A little bit.
So, like, for the first couple of episodes, I'm floundering to try and, like, get them on the right path, but also slow them down so I can make the changes I need to this entire campaign. So the campaign's not as strong as I had wanted in the first place, but they end up, so what happens is they find out that there's these bodies out in the woods, and they have holes in them, like an arrow might make, but they're just covered in them. Absolutely devastated by these things. And in
They used to be porcupines.
and pin cushions. And inside the wounds, they find little metal tips. So they're like, okay, well, this is like shit we haven't seen before. So we need to, like, figure out what this is. So they go to a town, and this town is devastated by these same wounds. There's holes in the walls, and they're only like a centimeter or so wide, but there's like holes in the walls and in the bodies. And so they're like, okay, yeah, no, this is bad. This is really bad. So we need to go find a way to stop these guys. So they eventually find out that it is a guy, an alchemist called Lex Rickor.
Lex Luthor, got it.
Actually, I had to come up with a name off the top of my head because they weren't supposed to be. They're supposed to be good guys. They shouldn't care about his name. Just go kill him, because he's a bad guy.
No. We sense a business opportunity here.
Oh, they did.
You don't know the half of it.
Yes.
I suspect I will.
So at first they were like, okay, we need to go stop this. We need to go and stop this guy, because they fell back into the mindset of good guys. Like, we need to go, gather the troops. We need to go stop this guy, and
we need to go stop this madness. We're the ones who are supposed to be bringing madness on people.
Yeah. So they eventually find like a small like town out in the middle of the woods, and they're like, okay, so you in charge. sorry, we like need town guard because there's this stuff going on. He's like, well, we can't really afford anything. So, but if you do something for us, we'll do something for you. So, people keep disappearing at night, and every time, the last time they're seen, they're always seen around the town well. So we needed to go investigate that.
Oh God, no! It's the ring. No. Okay.
Like you said that, I'm like, huh? My first thought was Lord of the Rings ring, and then I'm like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
no,
it's
the ring.
Sakura.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not wrong. So they're like,
A wishing well is not the same as Mount Doom, you fool.
so they're like, oh yeah, sure, let's go down to the bottom of the well. And like some people are having weird feelings about this whole situation, which is fair, because they, because I mean, if you like in the middle of a fantasy world, went off and like some town was like, help us, please help us, and then I kept having you roll perception checks, and I kept saying like, something's off about this guy, not like his mannerism, but like the way he looks, something's just off. And I told you,
Is he full of holes?
no.
Is he also a pincushion?
No. Well, they were eventually, but
Eventually,
Oh
yes.
dear.
so they're like, and I told you go investigate this well, and we'll help you.
No.
Players immediately are
It's
like,
a tarp.
it was funny because Logan, the Necromonger, was like, the de facto leader. Because it wasn't going to be the alchemist. The bear was too damn stupid. The monk was too timid to do anything. And the warlock sided with the Necromonger the whole time. So she just wanted to stab the shit out of things. He actually wanted to gather power. So he was the de facto leader. And he was like, yeah, sure, we'll go do it. And they
I
went...
love how Logan usually plays the leader because he's the good guy. This time he plays it because he's the most bad guy.
Yeah, that is how it came out to be. And he decided, let's go check out the well. If it's something bad, we can take care of it. If it's if it's a trap, we understand that's a trap, so be prepared. So they go down to the inn, not the well, sorry, and they they immediately find this antechamber that's not that big, and then they continue further on, and they find this 10 by 20 room with a sacrificial slab in the middle.
That's not ominous.
Or at the far end, sorry. And then there's two doors at the far end, one on the left and one on the right. When they check the one on the right, there are corpses. Copious amounts of corpses.
Cozy.
With large bite marks out of their flesh. But they've also partially decayed. And they're like, is there anyone we recognize? Yes! The innkeep.
Pod people!
And I made them roll intelligence rolls, and they came to the realization that these were ghouls.
While the bear comes to the conclusion that the innkeeper had a twin.
I think he might have said something like that.
Yes, he did actually.
Oh my god, that's brilliant!
Yes. It's like, oh, he's got a twin. Not caring or realizing the fact that this guy's dead. But the rest of the groups realize, oh, this is
Oh, he's sleeping.
yeah. Just psh, he's sleeping.
That's an odd position. That's an odd position to take a nap in. That's a lot more blood than one usually has when sleeping.
And so what happens is they realize these are ghouls, which are these undead creatures that have human intelligence, but they travel usually in packs of 10, roughly. And when they bite someone and that person dies, they can take on the visage of that person. At least for a short period of time, and then they have to go back and take another bite. So...
I'm so sorry, but I'm just thinking the holes. They were fork marks.
No.
Yum, yum.
No, this was a different thing, which actually came into play later. But, tiny little bookmarks. So they realize, oh, guys, we should probably leave because this is a trap. And then ghouls swarm them. Way more than 10.
Hello!
Way more than 10. 20, 30, 40 of them. This is unusual.
We have banded together
Yep.
to have a party.
Yep.
Specifically dinner party. Hello.
And so they start attacking the group. And so they're like, okay, back to the well with the rope. Nope, rope's gone.
Of course it has.
Yeah. So
And
this is where the alchemist kept falling.
Oh, right, yes, no, he would, wouldn't he?
And it's funny, too, because there's so many of them that each player had 2 ghouls on them. That's how many ghouls there were. And I think the first attack made against the alchemist was hit, crit, hit, hit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, and they deal D6 damage a hit. So it was like D6, and I think the crit got max. So like he got a grand total of like 18 damage on him, which dropped him.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So squishy. So
Oh,
squishy.
well they were level 1, so
Squishy.
oh yeah, they were squishy. And so then the cycle of I'm alive, whack. I'm alive, whack.
He will be mine, and he will be my squishy. Ham, yum, yum, yum.
So eventually they kill enough of the ghouls to make the other ones go, yeah, maybe this is a bad idea.
Cowards!
And they start to run away. And the party levels because they killed enough shit. And so they eventually find that they like barred the doors, so they were stuck in the well because the well like led into a tunnel that like led up into the basement of the inn. They barred that door and then left town. Like, we're bummed. Time to leave.
Yeah, that's not an illogical course of action given the circumstances.
Because if they come out, we're dead. If they die, we'll just come back later and we'll be fine.
And take their stuff.
Yeah, and take the stuff. Because they also found like shelves of stuff that from obvious other partying groups. So
Other people also
yeah.
went into this.
yeah, and died. So they gathered a couple of stuff, and and the ghouls left. So they were like, "Oh yeah, we survived, motherfuckers!" Tried eating us. They were pissed. Oh yeah, and so they left, and they went to a large city. Like, okay, so a small town didn't work. Let's go to a big city and ask to gather some gourds.
Big mistake.
Because
The orphanage.
no, because they were still thinking on the idea of we're good guys, we need to stop the bad guy, but they were bad guys. They had like in all their backstories, they were bad guys. Like for real.
Did this just happen by coincidence? They all just did they conspire to be all bad guys, or did they just happen to turn out that way?
Sienna was a bad guy by circumstance.
Yeah.
That's how that ended up.
Yeah, but you were still stabbing McStabby in the face of everyone.
Hey.
You remind me of one of my characters. One of her sayings was basically stabby, stabby, stabby.
And Gorlock was evil because he was evil.
Yeah.
He was originally a good guy, and then he got a taste of power, and he was like, "No, I like this." So they go to a big town, and it's clarified that Vako the Necromonger is evil, is straight up evil, and has killed people for contracts. So they go to this town, the city actually, and they go to the guard tower, and they're all like, yeah, there's like people that are killing people with weapons we don't know, and then the room is swarmed by guards.
Hey, you found your guards.
Because Vako had recently killed, like a few years back in this very city, killed a man of royal blood, a paladin that was going after the Necromonger, and a commoner who had witnessed the killing of the paladin.
You just have to keep killing people until there are no witnesses left.
Yeah.
Even that wasn't enough.
That was
Nope.
his philosophy.
Yep,
I
that
just gotta kill these guards.
that legitimately was his philosophy of kill everything.
Like a Skyrim player.
So he gets arrested, and the rest of the group they get to go free because they're not wanted, and they have to figure out a way to get him out. And so they're trying to figure this out when they're contacted by the Beggar Queen, which is a woman in charge of all the beggars in town, in the city. And she tells them, if you go to the harbor on a Tuesday night, this black ship rolls in and offloads a bunch of stuff to this mysterious guy from this mysterious guy. We need you to steal this specific crate with a specific symbol on it. Okay? They go to...
Gonna backfire.
Yeah. they go and do that. And right now, Andrea's either foaming at the mouth or red in the face. Or both.
She is making foaming noises.
And I'm surprised she's as quiet.
Like some kind of cappuccino maker.
That is true. That did sound kind of like a cappuccino maker. And so they go to this. Oh, at this point, they had gathered a new member to like try and keep the same amount of power they had with 5 people. And a vampire who was a conjurer, but he was a conjurer as he was a con man. He didn't steal things. He got other people to give him things.
That's
Continuing.
Yeah, that's you got Stan Pines.
Yeah, honestly. And aside from the monk, he was probably the best. He was probably the goodest character in the entire group.
Yeah, that kind of says a lot about the moral dynamics of your group, really, doesn't it, right there?
I mean, he was all like, yeah, no, I can totally steal shit from these people. What about kill these people? I'd rather not kill if I can help it.
Too much work. Too much cleanup.
Yeah.
He also had a brother.
Yeah, he had a brother named Artemis.
Artemis.
Do you have an identical twin brother who lives in an alternate dimension?
No.
What? No.
No, he had a twin. He had a brother named Artemis. That was also he was half vampire and he was also a thief.
He was also in jail at the time.
But he was legitimately like a thief. That was his class.
Who's Vaca?
Vaca was a necromonger.
Oh, okay.
And oh Jesus. So then the party was split, and every night the necromonger would leave his cell because he had an ability that allowed him to phase through objects that were less than an inch thick, and the bars were slightly less than an inch thick, so he could just phase through them. But he couldn't go through a wall or anything, so he would have to go through the door into the gorge area and fight his way out. So he decided not to do that. He would kill people to gain more souls, and then he found Artemis. And he used the mind control ability to make him sign a contract of servitude to him that was magically bound by the god of contracts.
I believe that the specific was if he wasn't able to teach the bear string theory.
In 3 days, he had to serve as Vaco's squire.
You sadists.
I couldn't stop it. There was no way I could stop this. There was nothing I could do. And I'm like, oh my god, you are so evil. That's more evil than just killing him. Okay, fine. So, because, his half-brother was now enthralled to, Vaco,
I take it he didn't manage to teach the bear string theory.
Oh god, no.
He also managed to make him forget that he signed it.
Yeah.
Did he say which string theory? Because he could have, made up a theory about a piece of string and said,
Well,
this is a string.
here's the issue. That wasn't also in the contract. His prison sentence was for 3 days. He had 3 days left to be in jail. So, he couldn't even leave the jail cell in the time enough to get out to teach the bear.
just kind of begging with the guards, please bring me the bear. What the fuck are you on about? You have to bring me the bear and a piece of string.
But then he didn't even know that because Vaco used the mind control ability to make him forget that he signed the contract in the first place.
Oh my god! And he's just kind of sitting there going, I feel like I've forgotten something really important, something that my entire future hinges on. Why can't I remember it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Why do I have the sudden urge to see a bear about a piece of string?
So, yeah, no, that was his character. And
that is geniusly evil.
Yes, it is, and it made me appreciate it just for a moment.
I have a certain amount of respect for that. Mostly despair and horror, but also some respect.
It's almost as if you are my player.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because
I
that...
have a certain amount of appreciation for magnificent bastards.
Yes, because that is something I would do. If I was in that same situation, fuck yeah, I'd do that. Hell, I'd make it worse. I'd make it so much worse. But, so now they had, sorry, I just got a text that said, happy you're getting old day. After all, 21 is downhill. I'm like, no, it's not. Oh, by the way, for the audience, it's my birthday, I'm 21.
Woo!
I'm gonna go get drunk on sushi.
Happy legal day.
Yes. In America, it's Happy Legal Day.
Yep.
Almost in every other country, I could already drink.
Yes.
So now to just offset the numbers a bit, they have this conjurer with them, and so they go to the harbor, and this black ship sails in, doesn't make any waves. It sails in, and it docks, and this incredibly handsome-looking gentleman steps off, and I make them all roll demonics. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, just because they could, they knocked out the monk and put him in a barrel just outside the inn.
Of course they did.
Just, why not? The alchemist was in his true neutral state, so he just didn't give a shit, so he wasn't even there to help. And the bear got distracted by something, so it was just the warlock and the conjurer doing this.
Okay.
I'd just like to mention, there's only one girl in the group.
Yeah, which was Andrea's character. Everyone else was dudes. But there was no worry about, sexualizing this character, because if that happened, someone getting stabbed.
Yep.
So, there was no worry about that. So, this guy steps off, and I have them roll demonics. And, being a warlock, she has bonuses in demonics. She realizes this is an incubus.
Right. Now we get to the
Incubus part. Yeah, I told you, this is a long story that encompasses a lot of other stories.
Yep.
And so, as they're sitting there, and they see the crate that they're looking for, which is, big enough to hold. It's like about the size of a companion cube. Is offloaded. Basically imagine Slender Man, except instead of a suit, he's wearing, like, royal garb, comes up. And I'm told, with another role, they know he's a Dream Eater, which is a creature that feeds off of, emotions and memories.
I don't like either of these guys.
No, because she had a very important memory that she needed to remember that was part of her character. So they start dealing, and the conjurer's like, okay, I got an idea. And someone says, switch the crate with Andrea's character.
No, it was switch the crate with Morgan, and then I would walk off with the crate.
No, that's not the original. Hold on, let me finish. Someone said, switch Andrea's character with the crate. And you freaked the hell out. Like, hell no! That's not gonna happen! And Morgan, the guy playing... Yeah, Morgan, the guy playing the conjurer goes, I got a better idea. I'm gonna use an illusion spell to make myself look like the crate. And then use a teleportation ability to switch me in the crate. Oh, okay. So now, because the crate is at the end of the dock, away from everyone else. So they teleport, so now, Andrew's character is now with the crate on the part of the hub of the pier that is connected to the city. So she picks up the crate and just starts to walk away with it.
I forgot to roll a stealth.
No, you didn't forget to roll the stealth. I'm like, okay. There's a lot of people watching and a big expanse you have to get through. So I need you to make 3 stealth checks. First one was a pass. Second one's a pass. Third one was a terrible, terrible failure.
Like a 3?
And no bonuses. So, like, the incubus just kind of leans over, sees her with the crate, looks back at his crew, looks back at her, and just like, get her! And they all start, the entire crew and the incubus start chasing her through the city.
In the actual recording, the Benny Hill soundtrack doesn't in fact play.
Yeah, because I edited it in.
Wonderful.
Because it was...
Yes.
it was a beautiful thing. As
it's
she...
on YouTube, I may need to listen to
It is. It's not as good as probably the Fallout game, but it's definitely interesting to listen to.
Duly noted.
And then, so as they're running through the city, it wakes up the monk, who, starts chasing after them. And then Angie's character is, cornered. And the incubus lands in front of her with the whole, the horns, the wings, everything, and casts charm on her.
Oh, fuck, no.
And she's about to fall for it when the monk goes, I'm gonna body check the incubus. I'm like, okay, make a strength check. Critical.
Go monk.
He body checks the incubus so hard, he Looney Tunes splats into the brick wall, and there's an outline of his shape in the wall now. And he just, like, pulls himself out of it and he goes, "What the fuck? No, that's it.
Good.
That's it. Kill them all!"
You're dumbfounded.
Yeah, exactly. Because at this point, I think he's been, like, stabbed, belittled,
This is the person we've been pushing around for the past however long.
abused in every, both mentally and physically, and he's just, like, body checks this incubus who's, like, 6 feet tall, and almost takes him out. And then the monk starts ripping into these, shadow creatures that are the incubus's, crew.
Minions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's all like, smack, done, smack, done, smack, done, end turn.
Path, Sienna's off.
Yeah, no, the moment the path is cleared, she's booking it down this, down an, old street. And,
Just imagine going, gotta go, thanks, bye!
yeah. Oh, that would've been funny. So the way to get to the beggar queen is you have to go into a sewer, which means you have to lift up, a manhole.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have time for that. They're on her tail. She doesn't have time to stop for that. So she dives into a shop that they found. That was a puppeteering shop, but it was owned by a serial killer. So all of his you know, the people that weren't found are still in the basement, still and partially being made into more puppets.
Of course they are.
Well, they went down to the basement, figured this out, scared the hell out of the monk, and then they left, and then they found the sewer. So she's in this room and she's trying to hide, and the incubus, like, they all like charge forth and they're trying to find her, and this tiger folk, this very handsome male tiger folk finds her, and is like, he's dressed up
Shifting incubus?
he's dressed up as a like a beggar. So she's like, "Oh, thank God. Okay, here's the crate." And once he has the crate, he casts charm on her and resumes his demonic form.
Yeah.
And
Shifting fucking incubus.
and she doesn't pass.
Oh no.
So I'm like, okay, so every couple of turns you can roll will and try and break out of it.
Nope.
But he's just like reveling in the fact that, yeah, this was a little troublesome, but he got a new toy out of it. And he hands off the crate to her imp, who has to follow her rules because he's bound to her, and because he's an incubus. He's higher ranking than the imp is, so he technically also has to listen to the incubus. So he hands the crate off to the imp, and he opens up a portal to the 9 circles and his home. And he starts to take her through, and she keeps failing will save after will save after will save, because every time she fails, it gets slightly harder, because she gets more enthralled. And just before she crosses the threshold, which there would be no return to, it would be, you know, either her demon lord goes, "Stop it, that one's mine, I want her back," or, "You know what, that's too much trouble, you can keep her."
Yeah.
She breaks out of it,
Oh, good.
and she books it out of the place, but the imp is still holding the crate.
No.
And is like, he's like confused because he's technically bound to Andrew's character, who he has to follow, but the incubus is higher ranking than he is, so he has to technically follow him too.
Oh.
So if nothing else, the incubus is like, "Just give me the damn crate," and Andrew is like, "No, come here, give me the crate."
It's like, come here, boy.
Yeah. So eventually, the imp decides to go along with Andrea. And they make it to the church, the dilapidated church where the beggar queen is. And they give her the map, not the map. They give her the crate, and they get a map of the cells, so they know that in one particular cell there's a secret exit. That way, you know, if a beggar or a thief gets caught and they get thrown in that cell, they can escape and be fine. Well, they're like, okay. It's like the middle of the night. We figured out this plan of how to get him out. We're all going to go to bed, except the bear. The bear bites.
What did the bear do?
The bear buys the most alcoholic drink the bar sells in a bottle, and makes the fantasy equivalent of a Molotov cocktail.
I've heard this one before.
Well, he goes up to the guard tower, which is made of stone, and throws the Molotov cocktail at it.
Yeah.
It erupts on fire, but the stone doesn't catch fire because it's stone.
Yep.
So it just kind of dies off. The guards come out like, what the fuck? And they arrest the bear and throw him in the cell.
Makes sense. Now that wait a minute, is he now in the same jail as the person who?
Yes.
In the same jail, yes, but not the same cell.
Not the same cell, but
he tries using the little metal bits that they found in the bodies and whatnot to try and pick the door. Which he already has a penalty because he's not a thief. He has a penalty because he's not using lockpicks, and he has a penalty because he's doing it from on the opposite side of the door. So he fails miserably.
yeah, fair.
So eventually what he does is he rolls up into a ball and just rolls against the door screaming because he fell asleep and he's having night terrors. So they open the door to try and stop him, and he rolls out and rolls over 2 guards. And he wakes up, grabs the keys, opens up the Necromonger's cell, and is like, yeah, no, there's an exit in this one cell over here. Let's just go. and then 2 guards show up, and he's like, hold up. Mind control these 2. They're coming with us.
Artemis also escapes with him as well.
Yeah, because, you enthralled me, so you're following.
But is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand, but I'm with you so far.
Well, okay, he uses the mind ability to force them to sign contracts, just like Artemis signed.
I'm just waiting to see where this goes.
So they escape the city, and they decide, well, and after subtly, air quotes, planting the idea, they decide, you know what, if you can't beat him, join him. So they go find this Lex guy and join him.
Of course they do.
Well,
not Osmond. Standing the entire time regretting all of this decision.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I wanted them to do. That was like...
Remind me quickly who Lex was.
Lex was an alchemist who was obsessed with trying to rebuild the elders, which were these people that disappeared.
Yes.
And he had this entire town that he built now, and he kept hiring mercenaries and adventuring parties to join him. So, they show up, he hires them, and they go do a mission for him, and then he shows them his great and powerful item that makes him so good at what he does. It's this teleporting pad that, as far as they can tell, doesn't use magic. It just works.
Huh.
So they teleport, they're perfectly fine, they teleport back, and they're like, oh shit, that's a thing. Yes. So now I'm going to teleport you to a place that I need you to go do stuff for me. And so they teleport again, but as they're beginning to teleport, the machine seems to fuck up. And everyone's like freaking out, and for the split second before they teleport, Lex stops freaking out and just is calm and smiling because he knows what's happening. And they teleport away. But they don't just teleport. They like appear in this giant imagined city that is a cross between Blade Runner, and I had a couple, Blade Runner, Judge Dredd, with a 1950s aesthetic.
Time travel.
Sound awfully familiar, Dally?
Little bit.
So they're here, and they immediately are stopped by what is considered the city's police force, peacekeepers. But they're decked out like they're in a military.
One of them called Anderson.
No.
Just saying.
No. I'm not saying that's not the dude in charge of them, but you may have noticed a few things that might have carried over.
Anderson.
And then so they escape the peacekeepers, they make a couple of friends, and then the game kind of petered off from there, sadly. But yes, that is the story of the Incubus, and a cautionary tale of always make sure your players know what alignment you need them to be.
Or that you make sure that you know what alignment your characters are planning on playing.
Yes.
This is my exact... I can sum up my mistake with Assassin to this one point, which is I gave them the premise of playing lawful evil characters when I in fact wanted them to be playing chaotic good characters. So, yes. That is the lesson I took away from that.
Which is why I don't like the alignment system. Another reason I don't like the alignment system. But...
Well, it's not so much the alignment. The alignment is shorthand for how they were going to be played.
Yeah,
It's
but
very much like yes.
just that's why
At
actually.
least you've-
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
At least you've got us now in Broken Souls, and we're like good guys in that, right?
Yeah, well,
Right?
which actually was done on purpose. I believe I told Andrea, Devin, and Logan, which are the original 3 players, that you can't play bad guys.
Yeah, you did.
They don't do
You
it.
told us that.
Yeah, I didn't say you had to play good guys. I just said you can't play bad guys.
It's like I've done that once before. Never again. Never again.
And then with the 3 other players, Eli, Smarty, and Bucky.
Excellent.
And Ellen. Yeah, that's right. Well, Ellen.
4.
Sorry, no. Eli showed up first. Eli showed up
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
and I think I told him you can't play a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then Bucky.
Order everyone's your name.
So the original 3 were Andrea, Logan, and Devin. Devin disappeared, and so Eli came in to replace him, and then Logan disappeared, and to make up for that, Bucky, Ellen, and Smarty joined.
Everyone,
All
all
in
the people.
Yeah, all in the same session. And then the next session, you showed up.
Not quite the next session. A couple
The
sessions.
next session,
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, you're right. A couple of sessions later, you showed up. But
I started listening like fairly soon after because you guys were talking about it as a Fallout game, and I'm like, "There's a Fallout game." Oh.
yeah,
And
and
I started listening.
yeah, and then you showed up a couple sessions later, which I never regret that decision.
Thank you.
Because you've given me so much to work with, and you're an amazing player.
Thank you.
But I think, well, I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, I think I told Ellen, Bucky, and Smarty that you can't play bad guys either. Like you guys can't play bad guys. You can play any kind of character, you just can't play bad guys. And I don't think I told you that, Dally, because
You didn't, no. I think when we kind of got started, I think the reason you kind of ended up letting me in was because I had a character concept from a previous game that I never really got to play. It's like, oh, I have her, she's a medic, that kind of thing.
oh yeah, they did need a medic. And I really liked it, like hearing you RP, so I wanted you to play, and so I totally was like, hey, you want to play? Yes, sweet. But at that point I didn't tell you that you couldn't play evil because, all the other characters were good. So if you played evil, they'd rein you in.
Balance
Yeah.
me out, yeah. I very rarely play evil characters. But yes.
Oh man, so that is like a good chunk of different stories. Bethesda keeps
taken up. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, Bethesda keeps stealing my shit. Yeah, air quotes. That's a joke. Bethesda, call me.
We know.
Like we're on the same wavelength here, obviously, because we kept coming up with shit. Like I would come up with something, and then like a week later, when Fallout 4 actually came out or was announced, there was things that we saw like, oh, that's a thing. Wait a minute, what?
Fruit.
I'm gonna get those sessions up on YouTube. You're gonna be able to listen to them and go back and go, yep, that was there before Fallout came out.
Oh yeah, you can actually check the dates on all that. It is a little terrifying. So every time like I have something that I thought was really clever, and the players would go, "Oh, that's really smart." Fallout 4 has already done it. I'm like, dang it! Oh man. Anyway,
Do you know that's been over?
I don't know how we're ending this glorious lies of battle. I will eventually come up with something. So
I've got something. Oh no, my thing was going to be comment specifically on evil characters.
Oh God, evil characters. I have a next session. I'll tell you the short story of a lawful good guy who was technically evil.
Huh.
And I'll explain
That's
that.
kind of interesting.
I don't think
Yeah,
I
look
don't
forward
think
to
I know
that.
this one.
No, you do not, because this is not my story. I got it from someone else. As a DM and a player, we collect stories. So, until next time, continue to play your games and continue to have fun. And, the three of us have a great time. Bye.